For those in the Zoom room, we'll be getting started here in a couple of minutes. Welcome, you guys.
Potential downside is, I guess you can't see the chat.
Right, yeah. Yeah, because the Zoom is minimized. So this is only for part of the class. This is only going to be for 15 minutes or something. The rest of the time will be other stuff. Hey, Charlie. Until Charlie wants to some people. Here you go, Charlie.
So we're going to go ahead and get started. It's just a couple minutes after 7. Thank you all for braving the weather out there. And anybody who's brand new to this class, or is everybody, there's a lot of familiar faces here. It looks like most everybody has been to this class. Anybody brand new, first time? There's a couple people, so welcome. And we are going to be having fun today with food, which you're all interested in. You know, we talk about a lot of different issues in these classes. It's lifestyle medicine classes, or lifestyle medicine, the root causes of disease or health. So what are the 6 things that you might focus on if you want your best health? What's one of them? Yes, sleep is one. What else? Food. What you eat. What's the next? Social connection. This is part of that social connection, yes? What's next? Exercise, how you move. You know, I'm kind of a little uncomfortable with the exercise. It sounds like work. So we just want to have fun. And so move more and sit less is the message on that issue. Chemicals you choose are important, yes, like smoking and alcohol, we know are not really healthy choices. And then, is there anything else? Stress. Anybody have any stress in your life? Yeah, that's a big one, you know. And so we try to focus on that area at some point in time. We'll see the class go. I'm not going to spend a lot of time. We want to be able to answer questions for you. Scott has a lot of things to go over with what you might do to, start on your journey, or if you've already been on the journey, to buff up. So feel free to ask questions and have fun. And I think that's about it. Scott?
Yeah, I'm going to be talking from back here for a little bit, but you can keep your eyes on the screen up there because I'm going to be going over some of the stuff on the website about meal preparation and planning, just so you have the resources. And if you didn't pick up a book already, there's a recipe book for each of you at the back. It has from the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine, so grab one of those. Also a class schedule if you don't have one from last week. The Lifestyle Medicine 6 Pillars handouts if you don't have those, and then all the lending library and everything else that's back there. And if you are new here, also there were some bathrooms on the back left. And also I always want to thank the Springfield First Christian Church for letting us use this space. So I'd like to thank them. Yeah, thank you. And also, we always want to mention as well, before you make any these diet and lifestyle changes, be sure to be in communication with your medical provider, because a lot of times your blood pressure can drop too low, and if you're on blood pressure medication or if you're on diabetes medications like medicines that lower blood sugar or insulin, you might need to have your dose adjusted if you start making these changes. So definitely be in communication with your medical provider on that.
Before you get started, I want to say one more thing. One of the issues is not only what you people are choosing, our tribe, but how about our kids and the foods that they're receiving in school? So I've been threatening for a long time to do something about it, and today was a day I finally took action. I got on the phone and I called 4J and I talked to the nutrition people responsible for nutrition, and I asked them, are you serving any processed meats? Because the World Health Organization has deemed all processed meats as class 1 carcinogens. That means the class 1 is the science has demonstrated without a doubt that these processed meats are carcinogenic. And that includes what? Bacon and ham and sausage and the lunch meats and the pepperoni on the pizzas. And the person I talked to said, yes, we still have those on part of the menu. You can look it up on our site, see what the foods that we serve, and you can look at the nutrition value of those. I said, well, are you also aware of the fact that the American Medical Association and the American College of Cardiology back in 2015 came out with a resolution to have all hospitals provide plant-based meals and eliminate all processed meats. So rather than just saying we need to change the diet or the foods in the schools for our kids, maybe we need to focus on just this one issue, I thought to myself. How do we eliminate a carcinogenic, proven carcinogen from the diet from our kids' school menu? So after talking with him, I said, so are there any he says, we do provide vegetarian meals at every meal. I said, that sounds good. He says, but the students get to choose what they eat. I said, well, who's educating them as to healthy choices and, might encourage them in the direction of eating healthier? He says, I don't know. So who did I call next? It's the superintendent. Well, it was an answer, message phone, left a message that we're going to be reviewing this. Hopefully they'll call back. And then ultimately it will be the school board. They have public times that are available. But first we need to get our ducks in a row with getting the documentation, what is actually being served, showing them the data on and the studies on the carcinogenic aspects of foods that they're serving in school. And just wanted to let you know that we're working on it, and if any of you have inroads to any of the schools or people, we're focusing our attention. I am at this point in time. Scott?
All right.
Take it away.
Yeah. All right, so can you guys hear me okay? I'll try to talk really loud back here. Can you hear me okay? Okay. So here's the home page, so livelifestylemedicine.com. So if you aren't familiar with it, definitely bookmark that. And I just want to show you a couple things on the home page before I get into the content for the meal preparation and planning stuff. So here on the homepage, you can subscribe to the weekly newsletter if you haven't done that already. So that if you subscribe to that, you put in your name and email, you get a welcome newsletter right away, and then every Sunday morning a newsletter comes out, and that always has all the updated information about the classes, all the other activities that are going on, all the other community support stuff that we have going on, the Facebook group, the book club, the health coaching, the next upcoming activities like the walks and all the different things we have going on. So it's a good way to kind of keep up with what's going on, is to subscribe to the newsletter. And then also, if you just want a tutorial of how to go through the website, how to navigate it, you can scroll down here to the website tutorial and click on this. It's a 11-minute video of me just giving you a tour of the website, all the where to find everything. So check that out. And then also the most recent class recording is also here on the homepage. So if you missed last week, or there was something you wanted to watch again from last week's class, it's right here. You just click on it and the full recording, and you can kind of fast forward the parts that you already saw. Or so if you ever, like tonight's class, for example, is being recorded. So I'm going to be going over a lot of information of where things are for meal preparation and planning and all the resources. And you're not going to be able to take notes and keep up with all of it. So you can just go back. I'll have this up by tomorrow night, and you'll have tonight's class as the recording right here. And then the further back archives are in the archives section, which you'll learn about on the tutorials. I won't go over that tonight, but that's the class archives section where all the previous classes are. There's actually over almost 200 of them going back to 2020. So, but yeah, so tonight I want to go over some of the meal preparation and planning resources here. So first I'm going to click on this recipes tab right here. And we don't have a whole lot on the recipes. We'd gotten some recipes from people when they'd bring food to the potluck and different things, and we posted a few of those on this page. But there's so many websites and YouTube and so many resources, cookbooks and stuff that you can get access to, that trying to just post a whole bunch of recipes here is not I guess not as user friendly, or maybe not necessary, I guess is what is the best thing to say. But there are some here from previous potlucks. But I wanted to show you on the recipes page. Obviously, we're not really in the holiday section right now, but time of year. But if you click this link, it gives you some good holiday recipes for like Thanksgiving and Christmas when we get closer to that. There's a whole section there. And then cooking, some reference guides for cooking whole grains. And then also Mary McDougall, John McDougall's wife, who's been cooking whole food, plant-based, oil-free since the 70s. She has a whole bunch of really good cooking tips and tricks on this document. So that's what I wanted to show you just on the recipes tab. So let me go back up, and next, everything else I'm going to be showing you on this website for meal preparation and planning is under the resources tab. So if you click right here, resources, and the first thing I want to show is links to cookbooks. So if you click here, there's a whole list of cookbooks, and none of the resources that we have on the website, we don't have any financial ties to any of it. It's just stuff that we find useful, that you guys might find useful. So you can click on that, and there's a whole list of cookbooks there, the links to the cookbooks on Amazon. And just for ease and not having too many windows open, I'm not going to click on each of the things. I just want to show you where you can start looking for stuff. And then websites with recipes and meal plans here. So there's different ones like Forks Over Knives has a meal plan, PCRM. So there's different things you can click on here to get actual free recipes and meal plans. There's actually also a free plant-based cooking class. This is through Switch, and it's actually online, and it's free, and it's a class you can take on how to cook plant-based. So there's that there. And then there's a meal for traveling. Let me see, go down here, right here. Plant-based meal ideas for traveling. So snacks and different things for when you're going to be traveling somewhere, tips and tricks and ideas that you can use for that. And then I'm going to go to the handouts from class section, which is up here. And there's a lot of stuff on here from our different classes over the 12 weeks that you can access from here. But I'm just going to show you on this section, handouts from classes, some of the meal preparation and planning resources there. One is the food substitution chart right here, and it kind of gives you like, oh, what can you use as a egg replacer, or replace of dairy products, and there's a whole list of things that you can use. This equals that in a recipe. So how you can substitute a traditional recipe you might have to make it plant-based. So that's a good resource. And then Meal Building Basics. This one here. This is actually a document I put together when I was first starting. So when I first started in late 2012 and early 2013, I'd read Joel Furman's Eat to Live, and he had a bunch of recipes at the back, and I was starting to cook those recipes, and I wasn't much of a cook. Still am not much of a cook, but they were really challenging following a recipe for me. Anyway, I didn't really have a lot of inherent cooking skills, and it was really challenging for me. And so if I would have had a document like this when I first started, it would have been really helpful. And what it is it just basically shows you, okay, so you start with a starch and then you add vegetables, and it kind of gives you examples of different types of meals where you're not even really having to follow a recipe. You're just like, okay, start with a potato, start with a grain, start with or even pasta, or kind of have a flavor profile, or like a Italian, or like a stir fry, or something that's really basic starch, and then you add vegetables to it, and how to build a meal from that. And that would have been really helpful for me back in the day. So that's why I created that particular handout. And then the very next one underneath, Meal Planning Ideas, right here, that one has a whole bunch of actual examples of different recipes, and different, really simple ones though, of kind of using that same little bit, expanding upon the meal building basics a little bit, and it kind of gives you more examples of actual meals, and it has links to the where the sources are, the recipe books that they come from, and so that's a read through that. That's a really helpful handout. And then I also have some no oil salad dressings here. There's like 30, I think there's 34 salad dressing recipes here, and I think there's actually 2 that have oil in them. There were a couple of Asian recipes in there that kind of snuck in there, but all the other 32 are all oil free, and so that's there for you. And then maybe I will show you, because there's a video I want to show you, but maybe I'll show you the Meal Building Basics one real quick, because they're in here as PDFs, and it just kind of shows you the philosophy of meal building. It actually talks to you about how to saute without oil there. It's probably hard to read from there, but you can print it out. Yeah, it's too hard to read from there, but that's probably another reason I didn't pull them up, because they're a little bit hard to read. But just wanted to see that's there for you. Let me close that. Close this. There we go. Okay, and then so that's the main things on the website I wanted to show you. I want to show you a video. Actually, Sunshine has done cooking demonstrations for us before, a trained chef, and did a little recording when she couldn't get to one of our classes, and she wanted to kind of give her top 10 list of meal preparation overall tips for you. And it might seem a little bit more advanced. It's kind of when you already have your recipes, and you kind of know what foods you want to eat. You've got the resources. You're to the point where you just want tips on like doing your meal prep on the weekends, for example. If you work during the week and you want to do some meal preparation, she has some really good top 10 tips there. And then, so I'll show that video.
Hey everybody, it's Sunshine. I am just here to give you my top 10 tips and tricks for meal prepping. Meal prepping, as you know, is a wonderful way to make sure that you're eating your healthy meals, your life is more organized, and you're actually going to be saving yourself a lot of money if you do everything ahead of time. So these are my top 10 tips since I've been doing this for what seems like forever, and I don't know how I ever did it any other way. These are my top 10. So the first one I'm going to say is keep it simple. It shouldn't be something that's incredibly, extravagant. This is not a time to pull out one of your fancy Pinterest recipes that you found that has 30 ingredients and 15 different steps. Save that for the weekend or the days that you're not prepping. That way you can still be creative with your food and try something new. But there's absolutely nothing worse than having an incredibly difficult recipe that you haven't done before. And when you're trying to just, get through your meal prep and have everything ready for the week, save that for another time. So the next tip I would say is, in order to be organized, make a list and check it twice. Make that list of all of the ingredients that you need, everything that you need to prepare in order to make the day of meal prepping go smoothly. That way when you're walking into the grocery store, you're not impulsively buying a bunch of ingredients and not actually knowing how much you need. You don't want to have to go back to the grocery store to get stuff that you might have forgotten. I have done this many times, and this is why I suggest this. Really write down that list and know how many pounds you need of something, how many cups you need of something else. Just go over it. Don't do this the night before. Come up with a plan. Be organized. The third step I would suggest is when you're ready and it's meal prep day, or even the night before, have a clean surface. You want to sanitize it. You want to clear out any clutter, because you're going to have stuff going on all around you, especially to save time. You're going to be cooking multiple things at once. So you don't want to have a bunch of dirty pans all over you, or just who knows what you keep on your countertop. Clear it out, get it away, or even set up a fold-out table, on the side of your kitchen to start, playing with how you want to get these recipes together, where you're going to put your extra bowls, stuff like that. So make sure the space is very clear and organized. So the number four tip is get yourself some stackable or recyclable meal containers. This will really help you to know your portions and do portion control. When they're stackable, you can just put them in your fridge and you take up way less space, because these, you can get some bento boxes that have multiple different sections in the container. If you have little snacks here, or you don't want juices to run into other types of your meals, or you can just get the rectangular kind where it's just an open rectangle. And then you can save these and either, recycle them and get rid of them, or I've been using the same containers over and over again. Sometimes plastic will erode over time, so you will eventually want to get rid of them if you start noticing any deterioration of the containers. But yeah, you can get them in 20 packs or 50 packs. And then you keep them nice and cool in your fridge, and you just pull them out in the morning, put them in your lunchbox, take it to work. And you can just live like that. It's really, really easy and convenient. The fifth tip I would suggest is get a kitchen scale. This is really easy for when you're batch cooking and you're cooking a large amount of foods. If you have a scale, you can actually weigh to see how many potatoes you have or how many onions you have just chopped up. So that if you use an app like MyFitnessPal, you can actually know what your portion sizes are. Plus, when you have a big bowl of the last results of your food, you can measure that, and then now I know how many portions I need to make, and you can measure, this meal needs to be 4 ounces of this per meal, and it just makes it easier for you to divvy out all of the different portion sizes, and you really have a grasp for what you have available. So that kitchen scale is going to actually serve you in more than one thing, in more ways, so definitely suggest that. The sixth thing that I would greatly suggest is when you have a little bit of money to spare, if you're on a budget, this might not be ideal for you, but if you have a little extra money, invest in things like an Instant Pot, a rice cooker, or an air fryer. Those are going to make it a lot more convenient for you to cook things in. especially if like you're using an ovens and you only need to like cook up a few things. Oven takes up a lot of electricity, and if you have an air fryer, you can actually cook smaller portions of things. They also help to make things more crispy, especially since you're cooking without oil. An Instant Pot is excellent for everything. So I'd also include like a crock pot in here, just because like there's going to be certain meals that you can just stick in the Instant Pot. You don't have to worry about it. Or especially when you start consuming more legumes in your diet. If you deal with like a lot of gas issues, an Instant Pot is really great because when you pressure cook things, it actually helps to relieve a lot of that excess gas in the legumes. So it's really worth your time and energy to get something like that. All right, and then to continue on with that subject, when you are cooking, it's ideal to make one of your meals a really easy meal, like a one pot meal or something you can just stick in the Instant Pot or stick in the crock pot. While you're focusing on your other meals, like especially during the colder seasons, we always do at least like one soup or stew. And you just cut up those ingredients and you stick it in the Instant Pot or the crock pot. You don't have to worry about it. It does all the cooking for you, and that way you can just focus on your other meals. Another thing, back to the legumes, that's going to be the number 8 tip, is plan ahead. For beans, you want to soak them ahead of time, and I would suggest even soaking them overnight. Beans will actually release more gas if you soak them first and then you stick them in the Instant Pot, and so it really helps your tummy if you're just not used to eating that many legumes. On top of that planning, if you have been freezing your tofu to make it, more meat-like, make sure that you're defrosting it like 1 or 2 days out. I get these big blocks of tofu, and there's been times where I haven't defrosted it the day of, and you're just sitting waiting for that to be done. So I would even start defrosting it in your fridge like 2, maybe 3 days out. Before your day of meal prepping. That way, when it's time to meal prep, all of your ingredients are ready and you don't have anything else that you're waiting for. That also includes things like marinating. If you have anything that you need to marinate it, make sure you do it the night before. Just like put, on your phone's calendar or your physical calendar, hey, this is something I need to do the night before, get it done. That way, you're not waiting around for something. Everything is just there and ready for you. All right, and then my 9th tip is have an organized timeline in your head. We had to do this in culinary school, and it really helped me to be a better chef. We would actually have to write a to-do list and like timestamp of how long everything would take in order of priority and how long things take to cook. So for example, if I have a bunch of potatoes that I want to cook and I know potatoes take a lot longer to cook, I will start on those potatoes first, stick them in the oven, and while that's cooking for, who knows how long, depending on what type of style of potato I'm doing, I can work on other things as opposed to like sticking those potatoes in the oven at the end of my meal prepping and I'm just sitting there waiting for those potatoes to be done. Another example of this would be if you're making seitan or wheat meat. That can take over an hour and a half of simmering or steaming. So I'd start that product first, and then while it's steaming, I can work on other things. So know what it is that you have to cook and how long each of these things take. Don't just come, on the day of meal prepping, look at your recipes and start. Plan out what makes the most sense to start cooking or start chopping and work on those things. And this is also something you'll learn with time and experience, but it really does make it move a lot more swiftly. And like I said in the previous cooking class, the passive foods, those foods that you're just waiting for, get those things going while you're working on other stuff. So just have a good organized timeline in your head, or even write it down if that's easier for you. And then my number 10 tip, which is I think the most important, is have fun. Meal prepping can be a fun experience if you make it a fun experience. It can also be total hell if you aren't organized and you're doing too complex of recipes and you don't have anything fun on in the background, like get on some really energizing music and jam out to it. I even like to watch some of my favorite TV shows that I've seen multiple times. I'll put on like New Girl or Friends and I'll just put it on the background, put it on a speaker so I can hear it. I already know what's gonna happen, so I'm not feeling focused and like I need to focus on the TV show. I can focus on the cooking, but it's still like it's comedy, it's funny, I can laugh, it just keeps me in good spirits. So have fun with your meal prep. Do it with a friend, do it with your family members or your partner. Get them involved in this too. I mean, when you think about what our ancestors were doing, they were singing songs while they were churning butter and while they were weaving their quilts and doing all of that sort of stuff. And so this can be a communal experience, something that, is an enjoyable experience. So these are my top 10 tips. If you have any other questions, feel free to email me. I love sharing this information, and have a great time meal prepping. I know you'll do great.
Yep. Learning about the classes, why you're here, what you're hoping to get out of it. Just a little icebreaker kind of thing while we're getting set up for the next set of talking and videos.
Are we still?
But you don't really want to put it up there. You don't really want to put the zoom up there, though.
We should be sharing the application, not the screen. What is it we're wanting to do?
Why don't they have sound?
We should have some now.
Yeah. Can you hear me in Zoom? Okay, thank you. Can you hear each other in Zoom? You can't hear each other? So, like Liz, I see you. You're the only person I see, and you're shaking your head. Yes, you can hear me, but no, you can't hear each other. Okay, so you guys are just sharing in the chat right now? Okay, is rather than, yeah. Okay. But now, why did I lose my screen here?
Do you need that?
Well, I thought I was going to work from, oh, sorry, you guys.
Oh, I thought you were just going to talk up there. Oh, right. Oh, okay.
Can you see it?
You have to do what I did. Control it from up there.
Are you able to see from up there though? I just shared the screen.
You have to pull it over to the right so you can control the mouse up there. So you're up there, your mouse is moving up there. But you can't look here, you gotta look up there. Yeah. 12 weeks. No, it's like 18.
Do you want to do that? Sounds like
No, you must have started.
yeah, it's showing. What I'm saying is on Zoom, you should be sharing the app rather than the screen. Because I think on Zoom they see everything too. Yeah. Oh. But if you share just the Google, or the Chrome.
You have to talk real loud. I can have everybody.
Do something real quick. Yeah, there you go.
Because while they're working on that, maybe they could share some of the
Yeah.
Okay.
So sharing just the whatever's going on here.
Well, I don't know if they can hear.
Okay. Now just that way.
So we're going to go ahead and
Zoom can only see.
have you kind of, we love the buzz in the room. It's really wonderful, and man, you are all engaged and have to do that some more. While we're getting where we need to get to, maybe a couple of you might share what you have discovered about this. Yes, go ahead.
Getting a Yukon Gold potato. Well, I get 4 Yukon Gold potatoes. They're about that, maybe about 2.5 inches, 3 inches, and microwave them in the oven till they're done. And then while they're microwaving, I heat up my waffle iron, and then I put them in the waffle iron and use a pot holder to actually squish them down. And as long as you cook them for at least 15 minutes, they won't stick to the grids. But I usually 20 to 25 minutes. and then just eat them like that. They're delicious, no salt, nothing. They're just really crispy. You tried it, didn't you?
I want to add my second to that testimonial that I did try it on Ray's advice, and they are wonderful. In fact, my mouth is watering a bit as I'm talking about
Do you leave the skids on?
Skins on,
Good.
just wash them, microwave them, and squash them. And I also found the directions said you could microwave them and then make them cold. And I used to do that, but I discovered that if you take them right out of the microwave, the waffle iron is much easier to clean.
Right.
Who else?
So I have a quick question.
Okay.
Isn't there something about cooling potatoes that brings something else?
There is something about when you cook potatoes and then you cool them down, the molecular structure changes a bit so that you get more resistant starch. So you get more that makes it down to your L cells producing your own GLP-1, more fiber effectively.
But I'm lazy and I opted for that choice.
They taste good.
They taste kind of sugary because you are frying the outside a little bit sweeter.
I do the Yukon Gold because they're sweeter.
Yeah.
Which I've used Yukon Gold, I've used red potatoes, and I've used russet. The only thing with the russet, you have to cut them smaller.
Right, okay.
They all work just fine.
All potatoes were just fine. Okay, anybody else care to share anything here? Thank you for that tip. Yes, hold on a second.
For my lentils, if I haven't soaked them overnight, I use a chunk of ginger, raw ginger, and throw that into the lentils and put the heat on, bring them to a boil, and stop it for an hour. Then you can go ahead and cook your lentils. That degasses.
Okay, all right, we'll continue on. We have one more, and then Debbie's going to continue on.
Well, I want to pick up when Scott said to check with your doctor before you change his diet, because my blood pressure dropped in the hole. Charlie saved my life. He said, stop taking the blood pressure medicine. And he was right.
Yeah, so food is medicine, and it's powerful. And if you do this almost completely, you may find, if you have diabetes, that your blood sugar drops really fast, that your blood pressure drops out. You need to be careful. Do this in combination with your doctor. Let them know what's going on. Okay, I'm going to turn back over to Debbie.
Okay, so I just wanted to show a few websites, and this one, the Joyful Vegan, have any of you heard of the Joyful Vegan? Okay, so some of us in this room, she and her husband, she's Heather Landale and her husband Stephen Landale. They just started this business where they deliver meals to your home every Wednesday. So she's a super joyful vegan. I just want to show you her. There she is. There's our joyful vegan. And she will be doing a cooking demo for us at the YMCA. And it's thejoyfulvegan.net. And you can go there and look at her menus for each week and order from them. For me, it's kind of spendy, so it's just a special treat, but whatever maybe you're just overwhelmed and you want somebody to do the cooking for you, she could do that. And our food is really delicious. So that's Heather. And then, do you guys know about this group, Eugene Veggies Meetup? Anybody know about these guys? Okay. Yeah. Okay. So Eugene Veggies Meetup. Does everybody know Meetup is a place you can go on a website where you can, anything that you're interested in, you can find a group to share that with. So if you're wanting support for changing to a plant-based diet, Eugene Veggies is a great group to join. And JJ is the lead of Eugene Veggies, and she's the one that sponsors the annual picnic in the park every June. And our group, EPBP, has collaborated for the last 4 summers at that picnic. And JJ hosts a lot of events at her house. I just went to my first one the other day, and I think Mike is in the room and Ray is in the room. We all were there, and I don't think anybody else here was. But it was she hosts one event a month, and this one was a burrito potluck, where we all brought one ingredient for a burrito, and she provided all kinds of wraps, gluten-free and oil-free and all kinds of things. And the food was super delicious, and the focus was on kind of what we're talking about tonight, like whole food, plant-based, and vegan tips and hacks, what to do when you're traveling, and so forth and so on. So I just wanted to tell you a few of the tips, and I hope Mike will share his tip. And Ray, maybe you already shared your tip. It wasn't about the potatoes, but anyway, somebody showed us their garlic press that they got from Pampered Chef, and it was this kind of large garlic press. And she said she doesn't have to peel the garlic at all. She just pops it in that big garlic press, and she's had it for something like 20 years, and it's still working just fine. Ellen, I see you shaking your head. Do you have one?
Yes.
And is that your experience?
Yeah, mine's probably 25 or 30 years old.
And it comes with some little cleaner, but she didn't, the gal that told us about it the other night didn't mention cleaner. She just said it cleans really easily. That's it. Okay. And then this is another great tip, I thought. Heather, the Joyful Vegan, said, you know how you have to, when you have garlic, you have to peel it and carefully, and sometimes you lose part of it, and you might cut your fingers trying to peel garlic. She said she doesn't peel it anymore. She just, you too, Ellen. Okay. She just washes it off, makes sure it's clean, and then if she grates it on one of those fine graters, the peel stays sort of on the top,
and the ginger comes through. So that was a great tip to me too. And then I looked it up today, and there's a lot of nutrition in the peel itself. And when it's minced or
chopped and added to food, you really don't even taste the epidermal layer of the garlic. So I was surprised to find out how much good nutrition, and it lowers food waste, not to get rid of the peel, and keeps your fingers more intact, perhaps.
Debbie, are you talking about garlic or ginger?
Ginger now. Did I say garlic again? Yeah. Okay. Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, I switched from garlic to, so there's the garlic press, and then there's the great tip about you don't have to peel your ginger. And there's multiple websites that say, with chefs that, are cooks, we don't peel our garlic. It's a great thing. So, and then I wanted to show you this website. This is Eugene area Gleaners. Does everybody know what gleaning is? Or does anybody need to know what gleaning? Okay, so gleaning is going to a place where somebody has an abundance of food that's going to go to waste because they don't, they have fruit trees that they don't pick.
They give a lot. I'm a member.
Oh, you're a member. So please talk about it.
It's been a while since I've been there because of physical things, but there's like out in Wilsonville, you can go get like fruit and vegetables every week, and you can go out and get fruits and vegetables every week, produce, sometimes nuts, sometimes they do have meat, not that we want to go there, but they have all kinds of stuff, and they have a gleaner leader, and you meet them, you can get like people will have like fruit in their yard, and they'll have a leader that'll meet you there, and some people will want you to give them part of what you glean, but then the rest of it goes to the group, and you get to split it, and they have meetings where they teach you how to can it or freeze it or make jellies or whatever.
Thank you so much. That's a great thing.
And it's free.
Yeah. And there's rules and guidelines. Like, you really have to be responsible. If you say you're going to show up, you have to show up. And but the reason I was thinking about it, because I glean in my neighborhood. So I have friends who say, the plums and the apples are just gonna rot. Please come help yourself. So we got a little freezer that we put in, just a little one. And so I got tons of apples, tons of plums from my neighbors, and I was helping them out so it wasn't rotting on their lawn, and I was coming home and cleaning it. And of course, it cut out some brown spots or whatever, but big whoop, it's really super fresh. And then I just chop it up and lay it out on a cookie sheet on parchment paper, freeze it and bag it up, and then I can't believe how much food we have. I'm still finishing my plums from last year, and another thing. So I just wanted to tell you about that. I love gleaning, and I just feel like it, because you see this food rotting on the ground, and you think that's good food, and we can share it with our community too, with the food bank and such. So that's great. And let me see what this one is. Oh, so I'm talking about this kind of because in the chat there's somebody from Maine and somebody from Montana that's in our class right now, and saying, I'm not exactly speaking to what they're talking about, but they say that there's not many people that eat like the way they do because they want to eat vegan, whole food, plant-based, and this isn't exactly speaking to it, but the Happy Cow is an app you can use if you're traveling and you want to know where restaurants or stores are that might have good food that you're interested in. There's more apps than this. This is just one of the first and one of the most famous sort of, or well-known, is Happy Cow. So that's another thing for traveling. And then I was making a list. How many different foods in a week are we kind of told would be a good number to eat to have a diversity for our microbiome?
For 25 a day?
So 30, and some people feel really daunted by that number. Like they think, oh, how can I get 30 different foods? So I was making a list of what I ate, and it's not weird or wacky or unusual food. I definitely feel like Scott. I'm not a cook. I'm not good at food prep, and I need to make it, and like you said, Ray, just you're lazy. Me too. I just like to make it as easy as possible. Like I started making my salads now. Instead of chopping each individual vegetables, I'll just throw the green and the cucumber and the pepper and whatever all on one big cutting board and just start chopping the whole thing together. And then I'm done, and I just feel like, oh my God, this is great. This is so easy, instead of, because I don't care if everything is chopped evenly or beautiful. I just care that it's done quickly. And so that's one of my tips. And another tip is, a lot of people say, oh, my vegetables or fruits rot in the refrigerator because you didn't plan well or you didn't eat as much as you thought you would. I always chop whatever greens I get. I almost always, if I think, oh, they're going to go bad before I get to them, I chop them up, put them on the tray, on the parchment paper, freeze my chopped up greens, bag them, and then I can just take cups out for a smoothie or cups out to throw into soup, and it's delicious and it's fresh. It's really fresh, and you don't waste all that food that's really yummy, and it's so easy because it's already prepped for you. And the kale, you know how you're supposed to strip the kale? I chop the whole thing and I just freeze it and put it in the bag. And question?
A couple times you've mentioned parchment paper, and I know it exists, but I don't really, parchment paper, what's the deal with that?
It makes things not stick. Like, it's used a lot in baking, and I never heard of it either.
It's better than wax paper.
Yeah, it's kind of like wax paper, but it's not.
But it doesn't
wax
melt.
paper.
But it doesn't melt. It's much better than wax paper.
Yeah, you can use it for baking or freezing. And Tamara, do you have any tips about parchment paper? Or?
Oh yeah, you can just use it as a mat to cook anything on or freeze anything on, and
everything just slides off.
Yeah, it's a non-stick surface, so.
And one of the tricks that someone showed me was if you're trying to make it fit into a baking pan and it doesn't want to stay, if you just crumple it all up and then lay it out flat, it stays. It stays very nicely. It's amazing. I didn't think it would work, but it does.
And I'm also, I use my parchment paper again and again, so even if it looks a little funny, it's fine for me, you know. And so I think, oh yeah, so what I eat in a day. So I think we talked about Dr. Greger's app last week, did we not? And he has what you should eat, like 2 fruits or a cup of berries, etc. Well, I was thinking about that, and I was thinking another way to go about it, if you're just getting used to adding more fruits and vegetables and legumes and such, is just putting a sheet on your refrigerator, maybe with the categories like fruit, greens and vegetables, beans and legumes, herbs and spices, whole grains and starches, and just in a week, just jot down what you eat in those different categories. And you might surprise yourself, or you might say, oh, okay, I ate 6 things this week. Maybe I can add a 7th thing, or an 8th thing, or a 12th thing. And to me, it's all about ease. And I got so many cookbooks, which are now in the library because I don't use them. And there's so many websites, it's really overwhelming. And I tend to sort of eat about 40 different vegetables a week, and that's plenty of variety, but I tend to eat the same 40, and I'm just fine with that. That's great. And so for my fruits, blueberries that we picked and froze or purchased and froze in bulk instead of the super expensive $8 a pint or something these days, and bananas, peaches, plums that I got from my neighbor, mulberries. My next door neighbor has a mulberry tree that's going nuts, so, and blackberries that are just in the neighborhood, in the alleys, or there's plenty of places to pick blackberries. Greens and vegetables, kale, cilantro, and beet greens are things that I throw in my smoothies. Romaine lettuce and red leaf lettuce. Peas, I throw a cup of frozen peas in my smoothie for fiber and protein and deliciousness. And these are things that I, like some people think, oh, you are so weird, Debbie, you know, that green smoothie, but it's really good with banana and some fruit and red cabbage, red onions, green onions, carrots, red pepper, poblano pepper, garbanzo beans, pinto beans, black-eyed peas, tempeh tofu, and I make smoothies with kind of a rotating liquid of nettle tea or hibiscus tea or what's my other one? Rooibos tea, and I get that in bulk. And tea is such an inexpensive liquid, and I have a cup of soy milk too for some protein, and then I have some spices and herbs that I take daily, a 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric a day, and a little bit of black pepper, and kelp granules, and so on and so forth, some chia, hemp, and flax. But it adds up to about 40 different, and those aren't unusual fruits or vegetables or grains, are they? Are they anything that you haven't heard of before? So I just thought it would be fun to jot down what you do and put them in the categories that Dr. Greger suggests and see where you're on mark or maybe not on mark, and how your belly feels with that food, like what works for you, because I think it works differently for all of us, you know. And I'd also like to ask Tamara Wilhite, who's here today, to just talk a little bit about she is going to do a cooking demo for us. I think it's October 8th. Do I have the date right? October 8th, I think. Is that a Tuesday? It's coming up in October, so she'll be doing a cooking demo, and she just finished up. She's going to tell you about her classes and
The 12th of August.
Yeah, August 12th.
August 12th. Okay. And I think Pam took the class, so you can maybe talk about the experience of taking her class.
Did you say that's at the YMCA in Eugene?
Yes.
That's
a separate. So not Tamara's class on October 12th is part of this.
That's here.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
August 12th. August 12th. And then we have 3 classes in September, October, and November at the Y.
Oh, okay.
And you'll be able to keep up with those on the upcoming events tab on the website.
And our newsletters.
Yep. I don't always put that in the newsletter. I usually put a link. I do usually put a link to if you want to go to the YMCA classes. Yeah, you're right. You're paying attention.
Okay, so for the cooking demo that we're gonna do here, we'll be making something that everybody can try. Same thing at the YMCA, and then in October, I will be doing another 4-week series class, this one, the Cancer Project. So for those of you who might not know me, my name is Tamara Wilhite, and I'm a Food for Life instructor. I'm licensed with the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine. So just some food tips from me. I usually start my day with oatmeal, and it sounds kind of boring, but it can be really good. And I just put in there whatever fresh fruit is available at the time to dress it up. Blueberries, raspberries. I put in a little chia seed, flaxseed, and hemp seed to get the omega-3s. And then I do put a touch of sweetener in mine, a little maple syrup.
The chia and flax seeds, you grind them first before you put them in?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. And you can get those organic now at Costco. So that's really nice. And I keep them in the freezer, and I'll have a little container that I'm using day by day, and the majority of it is kept in the freezer just to keep it fresh and it doesn't go rancid. And then the rest of my meals are usually potatoes or rice or quinoa, and then on top of that, or in addition, beans of all kinds, black beans, pinto beans, kidney beans, garbanzo beans. And then, like Debbie was saying, I just chop up all kinds of different things on this giant cutting board: bell pepper, cilantro, dill, basil, onions, green onions. For example, today I went to the Tuesday Farmers Market and just walked around and grabbed whatever looked good, which everything looks good, so usually I come out with way too much stuff. And I just pile on top, and I kind of make a rice, bean, potato, bean type of salad. And then I have these dressings that I like. So a ranch-ish style dressing that's made out of cashews and dill and a little vinegar. And I put that on top, or I use salsa and maybe a little bit of avocado on the top of that. And I like to make like corn on the cob. In the Instant Pot, you can just cook it for 1 minute and it's done, or you boil it. So I try to have my bowl and then a fruit and a vegetable.
Tip on corn on the cob, if you've never tried, right from the fridge, husk it, and eat it raw.
Yeah.
It's delicious, especially sweet
What was that?
Raw corn on the cob.
Tried it 20 years ago, never went back.
Yeah.
And the farmer's market also, like right now, pretty soon the melons are gonna be coming in. So they'll have all kinds of watermelons: yellow watermelons, red watermelons, orange watermelons, cantaloupes, all different kinds. And so, and everything is ripe and fresh and good. that's something I'm looking forward to. And then for dessert, if you happen to have a high-speed blender or blender, the bananas, as they're too ripe to just eat, I freeze them in little chunks and you can make banana ice cream. And that's really refreshing and really good.
I made it today.
Yeah.
I actually made Dr. Greger's nice ice cream,
Yeah.
strawberries and the ripe bananas. I'll go home and try it. I haven't tasted it yet, but I made it today.
Oh, right, yes, it's very good.
And your green apple smoothie, I couldn't get it to taste like yours.
Oh, mine was, I made a green monster, not the green apple. Really?
And I know mine didn't taste like yours.
Okay. I'm so
Practice makes perfect.
Yes.
Is it?
It's, well, did you use the juice one or the soy-based? No.
Juice one.
Yeah.
100% juice.
So at Trader Joe's, they have an organic, unfiltered apple juice, and that's the base. So that's a lot of sweetness right there. And then to that, spinach, cucumber, frozen mango chunks, frozen pineapple. Yeah, the cucumber and the pineapples and mango. Yeah, it's a good combination. That's probably so. I just try to fill my plate with the fiber foods and just kind of rotate that. Also, like pasta sauces. Another thing I like to do is make things that I can use for multiple meals. So if I make the brown rice and the black beans, and I just eat that with all the toppings, then the next day I can take the rice and dunk some salsa into it, mix it up, add a little cumin, a little chili powder, smoked paprika, stir that up, and now it's a Spanish rice. And then I can you can cook your own beans or take a canned beans, dump it in the food processor, or mash it by hand, make your own pinto refried beans. And then there are a lot of organic corn or wheat tortillas, and that way you can make your own burritos really quickly, really good. Also, you can, for kids, you can make quesadillas really easily. So just layer your refried beans, your rice, little bell pepper, whatever you might like, then put the other one on top and kind of smash it into the into the nonstick pan when it's really warm. Kind of press it in there, and it'll just crisp up really nicely. Flip it over, and then on top of that, if you wanted, you can dress it up with salsa, a little avocado maybe, or cilantro, hot sauce, whatever you like. And I just cut it sort of into squares, triangles.
We're going to your house.
So, could you tell everybody?
Alfredo?
Yeah.
Yes, cauliflower Alfredo sauce is really good.
So I see, actually, there's two people, and when you said you can come to her house, well, her house is going to be in October. She's going to have a 4-week cooking series. So this 12-week series here ends September 30th, the last day of September, I think. And then Tamara will do a 4-week class, to be determined where. This kitchen might be too small, so we might do it at the Grange where she did her first set. So you can come to her house and and so watch our website in the weekly newsletter for that. And I forgot you were at the class too. I didn't see you. Yes. So do you want to say anything about being a participant in the class?
Oh, it was wonderful. She's so knowledgeable, and gave us all kinds of options, cooked it for us. We sat there and watched her, and then we got to eat. And it was just lots of good suggestions.
The microphone
this microphone is for Zoom. This isn't for this room, so we have to speak loudly. We're just using these so Zoom can hear. So this gives you the illusion that you have the help of the microphone. Yeah. So you get up and just.
She's just great with all of the choices she gives you. She directs you. You watch her cook it. You get to taste it, and it taught me a lot. But I'm only 2-3 months in, and I fell off again for a couple weeks, but I'm back and just want to learn more and more and more and more. Yeah, the classes were great. This whole class was great, and then to go to see her, it just ups it that much more.
It will be on the website, and it should be on the schedule from here, and then we'll also make a flyer. Yeah.
Personal question. What does it mean you fell off?
I off the back. I was flapping like a fish. I just started craving stuff, and I wasn't sleeping well, so I went and I had pizza, and I had a hamburger, and I had a corn dog. Within a week's time.
You jumped off.
So then I said, okay, it's time to get back. So I'm back.
None of the rest of us have ever been over
Yeah.
that.
You don't know what you're talking about. So Pam, would you like to say something about the experience?
Yeah, I just wanted to add to that. I also went to the 4-week class, and it was so much more than the cooking class. And I went just to kind of get back into things, and I love to cook, but am also lazy. I want easy things, and we just learned how to make all kinds of things, and a lot of things that I hadn't thought about making before. So now I feel like I have the tools in my tool belt to do that, and I've made a lot of the recipes, because not only did Tamara cook everything for us, we got to basically have dinner Friday night. So it was like, this is great. Not only do I get to watch everything, but I mean, the food was amazing. There wasn't anything I didn't like. It was really, really good. I've used all the recipes, or not all the recipes, but I have like all my handouts together, and have tried several of them, and some of them even more than once. So the smoky carrots have been a big hit. So they're like hot dogs, but you use carrots. And, anyway, it's been really fun, and I've shared recipes with people at work, and they don't really say too much, but that's okay. I'm just doing my thing and feel really good, and I would really like to take the next class too. So I mean, it was great. It was everything, yeah, it was great.
Is there a fee to buy the food?
There's a fee for the 4-week series. There's not going to be a fee for the demos here or at the YMCA.
Yeah, because she seriously, she cooks about 5 different things and serves this gourmet meal. It's kind of amazing. And Becky, did you want to say anything?
Oh, no, ditto her. I went to all the classes. And it was really good. The orzo pasta I've made three times now. And I love that. I keep making it over and over. It's easy and it tastes really good.
And it seems like comments I heard, I mean, people would talk to me, because I was at the sign-up table, and building confidence. Like a lot of people said, it gave me a lot more confidence. And they came back saying, oh, we tried that recipe, and we tried that recipe. And I wasn't even in the class, but I got more confidence just listening and watching. So that was really exciting. And any questions for Tamara? Okay, so thank you so much, Tamara. And I also want to say, oil-free salad dressings. I use Scott's and the Fire Engine salad dressing. It's the 3-2-1, and it's just the 3 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar, 2 tablespoons of mustard and 1 tablespoon of maple syrup, so it's 3 to 2 to 1. And I'm so lazy. Scott has 30 different salad dressings, but I just can't get myself to do more. And now I seriously love that 3-2-1 stuff. So, right?
There's a company in Ukiah, California that makes balsamic vinegar, and I get the 7-herb Italian balsamic vinegar, and that is what I use for salad dressing just by itself.
Say the
Nothing
name again,
else.
please.
It's 7-herb Italian balsamic vinegar.
What's the name of the company?
It's California Balsamics is the name of the company, and it's mail orders. And it is kind of expensive, but it's plain it's delicious balsamic vinegar, and it's not as acidic as regular vinegar. And by itself, they have all kinds of flavors. So,
Where do you
and,
get it?
Pardon?
Where do you get it?
Online.
Oh, online.
California Balsamics. But the 7-herb Italian is absolutely medicinal, absolutely delicious all by itself.
Anybody else have any tips for, oh no, I think Mike, did you want to mention what you mentioned?
I used to like eating potato chips, and I finally found like guilt-free chips. In any store in the bulk food section, they'll have soup mixes. Pea soup mix. Generally in that bin, it's like these little chips, little flakes. And they're very bland. So they take on whatever you're eating. But they're crunchy. And so let's say you have a salad, you put croutons on the salad. So if I'm eating a salad, I'll take a bite of salad and a scoop of these chips. And guilt-free. All this is peas. Pea protein, that's it. There's not 47 ingredients, it's just dehydrated peas to be made back in the soup. But for a little crunchy snack, and it's always, you snack with something else. And I'm gonna scare everybody, and then if you ever try it, like, holy smokes. Pea soup chips and banana. Now, your mind is like, oh my God. But your mouth, all your mouth knows is sweet and crunchy. Sweet and crunchy. It's like eating a candy bar. And literally for a go-to, I'm dashed between appointments and I literally have a container of pea soup chips and a couple of bananas. Take a bite, take a scoop, take a bite, take a scoop. Guilt-free, I just had a banana with all the goodness in there. I just had pea soup, or peas, which is pea protein, and no guilt, and I just filled up, and I make it to my next appointment.
Where do you buy those pea soup chips?
Any store in a bulk food section. They got the bulk foods, and where they have grains and rice and this and that, and they'll have vegetable soup mix, dehydrated pea soup mix, a number of different soup mixes.
But they're called pea soup chips?
Well, pea soup mix.
Oh, mix.
I mean, you're looking for dehydrated pea soup. Okay. But it literally, these are like little chips, little flakes, and they're crunchy.
I'm gonna try that one.
Yeah.
Little dried chips of peas, yeah. So it looks like crushed potato chips, green crushed potato chips, that's what it looks like. Yeah.
They're very bland, but, so you can just, just all by themselves, like I said, they're very bland, but with anything else, a little bit and a bite of something else, a little bit, like good salad.
Or you can add water to it and have soup.
Oh yeah, you can make pea soup.
So that soup, I'm thinking, is 3-to-1, the ratio of balsamic vinegar to mustard to maple syrup.
What kind of mustard?
Well, I can't read Dijon, I think. You can use whatever you feel like.
Yeah.
Costco, big bottle of French's mustard.
Or
It's just, all it is vinegar and mustard seed, basically is all it is.
right, it is, it's so delicious, and I do not miss oil. Oh, another tip is in place of oil for baked goods and other things is, do you know aquafaba is the, yeah, is the. It's from the can of, or whatever, when you make garbanzo beans, it's the liquid that's left behind, and it's a great thickener. So you can. Yeah, you can make, or hummus, you can freeze the, cause it goes rancid pretty quickly, so you can put it in an ice cube tray when you empty a can of garbanzo beans. And just use a cube to make hummus, and with, instead of oil, just put the frozen cube of aquafaba in there, and it makes it really creamy. Cause I learned to put an ice cube itself in there to make it creamy, but aquafaba frozen is good too. And then you said you went off the rails, and Dana, you were saying nobody else, you know, we've never done that. Well, I forgot to say, in the things that I've eaten in a week is like practically a whole bag of corn chips. And one night watching TV, a whole box of sweet potato chips, which it's not a big box, but it's so mindless, and it doesn't fill me up, so I could just eat it, and I didn't want to look at the package to find out what. The next day I did, and I added 900 calories just in it was so quickly. So it's, and I know I'm not alone doing these kinds of things, so it's really, I want support, and I want to be supported to do the things we're talking about, because it's hard in this environment, you know, shop just the perimeter of the store instead of going in. And the last thing I want to say is 2 other tips from that JJ's meetup group the other night was, I'm also a sweetaholic, and I'm sure I'm not alone in that. Somebody said what she does to get her late night sweet cravings gone is freezes grapes, and she says they're so delicious. Freeze, yeah. And they give you a freeze brain, so you can't eat too many. And Mike eats a bowl of frozen blueberries and.
Oh, frozen blueberries with local company, New Naturals, they make the stevia powder, which is a good replacement for sugar. You just sprinkle it in, God, it's sweet, frozen dessert, but it's guilt free.
Yeah, yeah, and that ice cream is so easy. Anyway, Charlie's, he has a machine where you just put the banana in, and soft serve comes out, and his grandkids love it. And but I just do it in a blender. I just throw a frozen banana, a tablespoon of cocoa, and a little bit of soy milk, and then it's such delicious ice cream. Oh my God. Well, I just eat it. I have frozen the banana, so the banana's frozen, so you feel like you're eating, and you know you're eating healthy, really healthy food, so.
What's that machine called?
Well, there's so many these days now. JJ has one, do you remember the name of the one? Ray, do you remember the name?
No, I don't remember the name of
The Ninja Creamy. Yeah, Ninja Creamy, and she's writing a ice cream book. She's experimenting with all these different flavors, and it's all just healthy stuff, and it's better than ice cream to me, seriously. And I used to love ice cream. So anyway, we are running out of time, but I did want to mention this Saturday, we have our community walk at 10 o'clock at the corner of Amazon and 24th. We meet at the track. So every month we have a community walk in the nice weather. And so we would welcome anybody and everybody to come. Jamie?
Did it switch from 11 to 10?
It did,
okay.
because of the heat.
Okay, just
Yeah.
making sure.
Yeah, so when we first start, we usually do it at 11 because it's not too hot yet, but these days it's pretty hot, so we're doing that. So does anybody have any questions or comments before we wrap up?
Where is the walk?
It's on the corner of Amazon and 24th. There's a.
We do, we just meet in the parking lot by the tennis courts right there. Yeah. Only see it.
So you'll see us, Scott brings his back of his truck will be up and you'll see.
Nice
it.
DRU, tailgate up, name tag.
It's fun. It's not the most exciting walk around the track, but we don't have e-bikes speeding by us and. Yes.
Plus, we're excited, so.
Kind of block up this Saturday at 10 o'clock.
Kind of.
I'll send out a reminder email if you're on the newsletter list. I usually send one out on Friday morning with a reminder for the next day.
So any other questions or comments or announcements, you guys? We'll hope to see you next.
I got the vinegar and the mustard. What was one?
Maple syrup.
Maple syrup? Okay.
Real maple syrup.
Yeah.
What kind?
Real like Costco, I get mine in Costco.
Okay, thanks.
You're not using that much.
Each one. Yes, you could do a cup and, oh no, 3 cups. Yeah. Okay, well, thank you very, very much.
Okay.
Where do you get